In this video, I'm going to show you, do a little review about two sound cards that I like a lot. Both of them are just as good. To be fair, I do favour the UAD card over the RME UCX, and I'll give you the reasons why in this video. Now, basically, the RME Fireface is a great sound card. It has a really nice sound, and it's really good. I must admit, if you've come from one of the lower sound cards, i.e. I came from a Profire 610, which has sort of lower sound capability chips, etc. I was really used to that. And when I came over to this pristine Fireface UCX sound card, I've got to admit, it took me a long time to get used to it. So, and it was kind of like, for me, it was a toss-up between the Universal Audio, which is one card, and also the Fireface. And what happened was, at the time, they didn't have these in stock, so I got this instead. Because I was, it's highly recommended. Now, it's a brilliant sound card. It does sound amazing, and I use it now for all my mastering. So I'm not putting this sound card down in any way whatsoever. Just going to give you a tour through the both of them, and then we'll get on to the UAD. So this one has 6 outputs, 6 balanced outputs, as you can see here. It's got a Firewire 400 port, USB, power on the back, on and off, which, to be fair, I don't really know why you'd have a power switch on the back, because where I've got my sound card, you can't get to the back of it, so this is kind of pointless for me. It would have been better if this was around the front. You got your SPDIF, you got your ADAT in and out, you got your word in and out. Basically, a lot of these things are irrelevant to me as a kind of a desktop producer. If you've got a recording studio, obviously you're going to want as much outputs as you can get, because you're going to want to plug that into your mixing desk, etc. Also, again, same rules apply for your inputs. Now, on the front, you've got your general mic inputs, which are great. I'm actually recording this video. The mic is plugged into one of these front ports at the moment. So you can get an idea of the sound, and I'll show you it sort of moving along here. This is this software that comes with it. Now, we'll get back to that in a moment. As you can see, the mic's here, and there are various adjustables on here to mess about with, like you've got phase, you've got compression, you've got EQ, and you can just tweak your mic and get it sounding good, and it does sound quite good from where I am now. So I find the front panel quite confusing to use. I'm using this headphone 7 and 8 at the moment, but this actual button on the front here is very confusing for me to use. I haven't been able to get my head around it. Maybe there's a lot of gurus out there that can. I'm plugging my inputs 3 and 4. I've got my Numark Mix Tracks Pro 2 plugged into here, so I can do my mixes and record to WAV, etc. So this is great. I mean, online there was a lot of demos on this, but a lot of them were playing kind of heavy metal and rock and stuff like that, and a lot of contemporary music. But if you're kind of like into dance music and sort of heavy sort of Amen jungle kind of stuff, it's very, very tricky as to what sound card to actually buy. And those sort of demos, although they do show a lot of technical stuff, and if you're a technical minded person in that sense, and know all your frequencies off by heart, etc., etc., then those videos are really helpful. But for me personally, it wasn't really working, and I would like to hear some demos on the style of music that I'm doing, and this is why basically I'm inspired to do this video. So for the love of experimentation and information out there, I'm going to give you a tour of basically all what these sound cards are about, and why I prefer the UAD over this sound card for certain processes. Now, mixing and mastering, I do all my mastering on this because it just sounds pristine. Not that the UAD doesn't sound pristine. This is just more of a mastering grade, they say, sound quality. But vibe-wise, I can't get into the sound of it vibe-wise. You definitely sounds a lot better with when you've got the monitor on, but for the headphones part of it, I can't get a good vibe listening to the headphones on using this socket here, which is so that's a pro and a con on that thing. Now on this mixer, I've been using mixers for like years and years and years, and I've come onto this mixer, and obviously it's not a digital mixer that I've been using for years, but this type of mixer. But this type of mixer now is completely different. So now what I found with this mixer is that it's got so much routing capabilities. Like they say you can route any channel to any channel, but I found that super confusing. And it took me a little bit of time to even just figure out how the bloody hell to get the sound to route back into here. And I'm still baby on this at the moment. And not really used it to the fullest. But basically, this is the general idea of it. You get a track here, you feed it in, you select which track you want that to go on to. So let's see if I can get this to work the way. So if I click here, I can't even remember how to do it. See, for me, it's really... here you go. So if you wanted that mic to route to there, you'd literally turn that up. And apparently it was supposed to route to that monitor, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's how you know, this is a general idea. It's not a how-to. This is just a review anyway. So we'll get rid of that now. And that's the Fireface. So at the moment, all of my mastering I'm doing on this for the final mix, because I've got my Tannoy reveals connected to the outputs of this. And it does sound really sharp and nice. So that's my final mixes. So... as you can see, again, I put the total mix up there just to show you. Now, onto my favourite sound card of all time. This sound card here to me. Now, it was a while before I bought this, because I had the Fireface for a little while. So it might have eased me into this high quality thing. But from the get-go, I have been able to relate to the sound of this sound card. The things I like about this sound card is it's on the front here, the meter. You see this green thing here, it lights up according to how loud it is. You control the monitor in the room. I've got these connected to a set of KRK Rocket 5s. And they sound awesome. Now, sound wise, Amen, breaks, flipping junglist, beelines, everything. Anything on here I can relate to. What I like about this as well is when you're using Cubase, the meter bridge here shows exactly to the nearest dB on your DAW, on Cubase. So basically, if this clips, Cubase clips. If it's not clipping, Cubase is not clipping. And what this whole meter bridge here, you'll see it in action. I'm going to put a video up on the screen. This whole meter bridge here, it moves obviously in time to the music, but what this reminds me of is the old Mackie 8-bus meter bridges, and I'm so used to that when we used to produce all the Joker stuff and all of the you know, in my old recording studio before I kind of went digital with it all. And you know, I can really relate to this. It really helps to do the mixes, because I set this to like 0 dB, and that's my highest point, and I can kind of just look at this meter and see how much dB I'm working with, how much, you know, headroom I've got spare. The fact that this has got 2 headphone sockets, if you've got a mate round, they can plug into there and you can both listen. Now, obviously, you can do that on this, yeah, but as you can see, 7 and 8 is headphones, but you'd have to use one of these outputs for headphones. And again, you've got to get around the back. So that's definitely a smash up there. So that's that. Obviously, these pads are for the mics and stuff. I haven't used the mics for this. Now, one thing I'll say, getting onto this UAD's control panel. Now, this thing here, I've had a go at this, and it's not very, how you call it, comprehensive in terms of routing and stuff. I don't think this offers as much routing as the RME one. But sound wise, this is awesome. And also in the quad, it's in this UAD Apollo quad, it's got its own DSP chip, so you can load UAD plugins into it. And UAD have the world of plugins, and these plugins, I'm not joking, they don't sound like your usual VST plugins. they sound, I don't going to tell you they sound like the hardware, because half of this hardware I've never used it, but my guess is going back to the days of DJ Crystal, when they had the what was the name of that studio, Monroe Studios, Pete Parsons in there. They had pretty much all the high tech stuff, and this is the stuff from those days. All these plugins, compressors, and it's just, it really does sound fat. Gonna do a demo of that on that one shortly, and also show you a couple of mixes. But as you can see, all these plugins are available, and all right, fair enough, some of them are expensive, some of them are reasonable, but as a UAD customer, once you register, they send you special offers every month, and it's like 40 quid off a plugin. You end up paying 40 quid, 50 quid, whatever, and you know, it's pretty reasonable. You'll probably get a batch of plugins to come with it. And again, as I say, taking you on a tour of this. You've got this preamp here, which I'm not sure is what I'd use that for, because I don't use that at the moment. Again, like I said, these sort of sound cards are aimed at people who have recording studios with like lots of output gear to plug in and out, because this is, in theory, this is your mixer. This replaces a studio mixer in the 20th century. You know, this has a lot more stuff going on. This sound card has got a lot more ins and outs, blah 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 blah, and it's a lump compared to this sound card. This sound card is like half. The RME is like half rack. Where is it? Yeah, this is like a half the size of that. And when you pick this sound card, is so heavy. The flipping case alone is like an amplifier. So you're not just paying for some circuitry in there. This is a Tonks piece of kit. And I like this just as much as I love my Mackie back in the day. I'm using it for all of my vibe work, all of my processing, compression. I'm using internal plugins and just VST softwares as well. Yeah, but I'm also using this as, like I said, this is my workstation piece of kit. When I'm making tunes, I've got my headphones on here if I'm working late night. If I'm working during the day, I have it at a moderate level because I don't pump music as loud in the studio as I used to, due to the setup, where it is located, etc. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on this on these two sound cards, because it was so confusing when I went out to first buy it. If I had a choice between which sound card I would have bought first of all, if I didn't end up with two, I would have definitely bought this sound card and probably never looked back again. You know, I know I do have other producers that I know of that swear by this sound card, and you know, there's a reason why. You look at a lot of the hip hop producers, they swear by this sound card. It is fat. Yeah. If you can obviously be in a blessed position enough to buy the two, then this is definitely worth a buy as well, because as I said, you can, you know, it's not as much, it's probably about half the dough of the other one, and it will get you in that world of high quality sound. But at the same time, you know, if you just want to buy a sound card, splash out, that's the end of it. I've got the two as well for the love of experimentation. I could have taken one back, but I wanted to end up doing this video at some point and clue people up, because it was a rough time getting to this point, figuring out what sound card to buy. Because I started off on an M Audio Profire 610. I'm also about to test the Ultralight sound card, which is the Mark of the Unicorn, and I will do a review on that, because that's kind of like, in terms of step, to me this is the top of the top of the stairs. Then the next step down is that one. Then apparently, possibly the next step down is the Ultra Light Mark III. And as I said, because of these the meter bridge, having these here, to me that sells it all. It's worth its gold. These two sockets, that the lighting, the quality of that. So I hope this has helped someone out. If you want to see more cool reviews, let me know what sound cards you guys use, and you know, do you swear by it? How does it sound? How much did it cost you? And let me know, please, what the model of it is, and share it with people. If you're into dance music, EDM, jungle, dubstep, whatever, just let me know what sound cards you use, and are they banging, and are you totally happy with them? Are you thinking about upgrading? Let's see the stories to help people out there and share the knowledge. Take care, peeps. God bless, peeps. Peace. I always say peeps. Peace. Yeah, that's the kind of flavour I'm looking for, right?
Yes, fam. But the point is, where's the ragga jungle at? Because you can't find it. Where's the jungle? See?